exchange native tokens. Right?
혹시 여기서 트랜슬레이션을 원하신다 하시는 분 있으신가요? Whoa, good to go. They don't need a
No way. Everybody understands English.
That's good. And 저희 혹시 저희가 사실은 5시에 시작했어야 되는 조금 늦었어요. 네, 죄송합니다. 그리고 저희가 7시 반 정도까지는 일정이 괜찮으니까 사람들이 이렇게 들어오셔도 편하게 그냥 들으시면 될 것 같고요. 질문 시간은 나중에 한꺼번에 발표하시고 받을게요. 오늘 지금 발표하실 게 저희 블록체인 인베스트 세션에서 발표하신 내용이긴 한데요. 뭐 편하게 자유롭게 오늘은 사실은 세션이라기보다는 이렇게 스마트 펠로 사랑해주시는 여러분들과 이렇게 겟투게더 하는 자리이기 때문에 편하게 나중에 질문해 주시면 될 것 같습니다. Okay, good to go.
Exactly. So, okay, guys, who knows what is Cambrian explosion? How many years ago? So, Cambrian explosion, you know, when the climate on the Earth changed and then all the animals appeared, right? But when was it? Who knows?
Long time.
After Christus? So that was like 5 million years ago, right? And when we're speaking about what's happening now with tokens, cryptocurrencies, tokenized securities, this is kind of like also Cambrian explosion, right? Because all of a sudden there are all of this universe, you know, and this is even just the beginning, right? So this is why with digital assets, we're living now through the Cambrian explosion period, like the one 5 years ago. And how do you do it? If you guys don't know much about us, well, we are one of the largest companies in Swiss Crypto Valley. I was one of the founder of Crypto Valley some 5 years ago. Was the first 3 companies, Vitalik Buterin was Ethereum, I was there with Xapo, and there was another company. So we started this notion of Crypto Valley. Today there are 700 companies, right? It's the largest, the fastest, largest growing ecosystem. And also on the side note, I run the biggest blockchain conference in Switzerland, already three times conference staged. So if you want to come and visit beautiful Switzerland, the largest crypto center, please come and be my guest. All of you, everybody who's here, and everybody who joins us online, you guys get a free ticket from Bitcoin Queen. That's my word. Just send me your email, say I'm coming, and you will be my guest. Okay, so with that, well, we've been part of Thomson Reuters incubator. We spent first 1.5 years at Thomson Reuters. They selected us to be part of their accelerator program. We've been selected by Forbes top 10 companies because we're doing something that nobody's doing or doesn't exist, right? So everybody loved our courage. We have great investors, 7 venture capital companies on board. And basically what we do, we tokenize real assets, like shares in startups and private companies, shares in more developed companies like early stage but tech companies, real estate, venture capital funds. So we turn those investments into tokens, and via the exchange, where these tokens can be initially listed, but also traded in secondary market. And this is something that does not exist today, right? Who of you heard about T0? T0 in US? T0.
Yeah.
It's our stock, exactly. So this is one of the companies worldwide to basically offer or open an exchange, right? But the problem is there are not really exchanges today in operation like the large cryptocurrencies, right? I have to move this way. Okay, and why? Because the problem is today with regulation around being a stock exchange where you can trade stocks like equity instruments. The regulation is very complex, right? Crypto, if you trade crypto, it's kind of like it's currencies, right? So it's not a big deal from regulatory perspective. If you trade shares in the companies or bonds in the companies or mutual funds, you need to be regulated as stock exchange, right? And this regulation is much, much tougher. So this is kind of what puts us apart from our competitors. We already received 2 licenses in those 2 countries, in Liechtenstein and in Switzerland, Liechtenstein for European country. And with this, we are already launching an exchange. So this week on Friday, we are opening our platform for public access. It's a big day for us. We've been building for 1.5 years. To my team actually in Switzerland and in Germany. So I would welcome you. You will receive an email just to have a look, to test and give us feedback, what you like, what you don't like. If there's something that really shit, please tell us. Right? We would really appreciate that. But the big thing for us is basically this multilateral trading facility. This is technical term for stock exchange, right? So and we've been preparing and in the process of receiving this stock exchange later this year. And with the stock exchange, we can then trade all the security tokens. Not only in Switzerland, but in all the European countries, because we have this European Union passporting system. If you have a license in one country, you kind of have the same license in 26 other countries. It's amazing. It's really great. One of achievements in Europe. Okay, so back to the topic, Cambrian explosion. World Economic Forum says that by 2025, 10% of GDP is going to be on the blockchain. So all the assets will be tokenized and on the blockchain. How much? From that number, around 10 to 12 trillion. And if you think about it, is it much? And is it already happening? Yes, it's happening. So today we have, tokens in real estate. Like this Aspen Hotel is very nice hotel in Aspen, St. Regis, right? So it's worth 100 million. 20% of this property, 20 million, was tokenized, and investors could send Ether and buy part of this real estate, right? So if somebody is saying this is not happening, this is happening, right? The whole portfolio of real estate properties in Brazil. BTG Pactual, that's investment bank. Investment bank is tokenizing the whole portfolio of real estate and selling it to foreign investors. Tokenization happening. Overstock, T0, their shares are tokenized and listed on their exchange. Venture capital companies, blockchain, science, securitize. More and more venture capital funds raise funding through partially offering it to more retail investors in the form of a token. And of course, art and music and films and all of this. Intellectual property rights. This is the third category. And today there are kind of like around 100 STOs currently in preparation. So this wave is just taking off, right? The problem that we have no infrastructure. So companies are issuing security tokens, but there are no exchanges. Where are you going to trade them, right? Because you see, the traditional exchanges, they don't have blockchain infrastructure. And crypto exchanges, they don't have the regulation. So now is a short, frame of opportunities that we are kind of like trying to get in. So we build an exchange and we're getting licensed, right? Let's watch who's going to be first. So this is one of my favorite examples. This is one of the projects that are going to come out on our platform. This is a venture capital fund, space fund, that invests in space early stage companies focusing on space technologies, right? So it's very specialized focus fund, right? And this kind of funds, like this kind of investments, only Elon Musk's, large governments, very rich people invest in this stuff. But no, the fund is tokenized. On our platform, almost anybody, a lot of people will be able to buy the token in a space fund, and then they own fund. They're like limited partner. You see? It's security, right? But the advantage is tokenization. You can trade it in the secondary market. You can sell it to him, and he can sell it to you, and we can run a smart contract-based auction, right? You say, well, I have 10 tokens of the space fund, but I met this nice girl, and now I need liquidity. I want to buy her a car, and I need to get out of the fund. Traditional VC, no way. Wait 8 years, then you get out, right? So in alternative investments, in private companies, there is no liquidity, right? Once you invest, you're stuck for the next 10 years. no exit, no nothing, right? And this is what tokenization is changing, right? We can create secondary markets and more liquid markets where they do not exist today at all. Do you agree? Any questions to this? What is the challenge? Who knows? Too many. So that's probably just to give you an idea of what's happening. And in terms of the size, if you look at, well, now this is our small crypto market cap, right? So this is basically in billion, right? So we have 180 billion. This is our market cap. This is where we swim, right? But look at other assets, right? At stock, so publicly traded equity, real estate. This is all in trillion, right? Trillion, billion, trillion. Completely different scale, right? And you know what, guys? The exciting thing is like banks, exchanges, they started to tokenize this, right? Last week, what was it? BNP Paribas issued a bond on public Ethereum blockchain, right? So this is what's going to happen. You will see exchanges and banks starting to tokenize stuff. And on the other side, you will see crypto exchanges getting licensed and offering security tokens, right? But there is a big difference. And the difference is, there's something wrong. Oh, I wanted to just on a side note to point out about Korea and why we are coming here. Why security token would come
Olga?
here? Yes.
We have another guest over streaming on the YouTube. Right?
Yes.
They want to have a translate, so let me translate from here.
Oh,
So,
okay.
yeah.
Please.
So just go ahead and talk, and then let me have like maybe 2 sentences.
Yeah, sure. So I'm very happy to be here, and I'm really, really big fan of your country.
오늘 이 자리에 있게 돼서 너무 좋고요. 우리나라 한국 정말 좋아한다고 하시네요. 네.
Not just because of the kimchi. I like
김치 때문만은 아니라고 합니다. 네. 제가 여기서 잠깐 스탑한 이유는요. 이게 저희 우리나라 한국에 대한 이야기여서 여기서부터는 좀 통역을 할까 합니다. 네.
Yes, but because of this, right? Korea is for years one of the top global leaders in innovation. And the same as Switzerland.
네, 블룸버그 2019년 자료에 따르면요, 우리나라 지금 보시면 알겠지만 1위 하고 있잖아요. 물론 독일과 아주 아슬아슬한 차이로 우리나라가 1위 하고 있는데요. 세계에서 가장 이노베이션, 그러니까 창의적인 그런 나라라고 블룸버그에서 2019년에 네, 발표해 주셨네요.
So there are a lot of great startups, innovative companies, but you guys have the same problems that we have in Switzerland. And the problem is we have no Silicon Valley.
네, 자, 이노베이션 하면 가장 중요한 게 스타트업에서 가장 중요한 게 이노베이션이잖아요. 근데 이노베이션이 가장 큰 우리나라에 그러니까 스타트업이 굉장히 많겠죠. 스타트업이 많은 우리나라에 가장 부족한 것이 무엇이냐?
So,
우리는 실리콘밸리가 아니잖아요. 네.
so venture capital industry is not developed, right? You have these huge conglomerates, chaeballs, all this, but they are massive, right? And they do not necessarily support young startups that want to keep their independent position.
네, 스위스에도 같은 문제가 있는 걸로 말씀 주셨는데 우리나라도 스타트업을 서포팅하기보다는 지금 뭐 많이 아시겠지만 현대, 뭐 삼성 등 여러 가지 큰 코퍼레이션들이 많이 차지하고 있잖아요. 그 코퍼레이션들은 사실 스타트업을 자본으로 백킹업하고 있지 않은 게 현실이고요. 네.
So it's actually STO, issuing a share, which global investor base buys all around the world, and getting funded, kind of like ICO, but STO in a legal and compliant way. It's an amazing opportunity, right? It would be.
네, 그래서 대표님이 말씀하시는 가장 좋은 아이디얼한 스타트업에게 아이디얼하게 투자를 받을 수 있는 방법 자체가 STO 그 방법 중에 하나죠. STO라고 하시네요. 네.
I don't know. Do you guys agree? Would that be good for startup ecosystem if they would be able to issue shares?
여러분들은 어떻게 동의하시나요? 스타트업들이 투자를 받을 수 있는 방법 중에 하나가 저희가 STO라고 지금 말씀을 드리는
Yes, no. Who is for yes? Who's for that? Very good. So, and the same is true for all companies around the world. And some countries are more progressive. They have crowdfunding regulation, enabling, issuing a share and getting funded. And some countries are more on the back, right?
네, 비슷한 시스템으로는 여러분들 들어보셨을지 모르겠는데 크라우딩 펀딩이라는 게 있어요. 근데 어떤 나라에는 크라우딩 펀딩에 대한 레귤레이션, 규제가 정해져 있고 어떤 나라는 정해져 있지 않은 게 현실입니다.
That's why we're doing this in Switzerland and in Liechtenstein, because regulator wants to enable this.
네, 하나 말씀드리고 싶은 게요. 스위스에서는 지금 이와 같은 크라우딩 펀딩뿐만이 아니라 STO 같은 규제를 정부에서 지지하고 있어요. 우리나라랑은 조금 반대인 상황이죠.
So this is why we are coming here to Korea. We are building out our presence in Korea. We got listed on 18th of April on Bitstamp, one of the most reputable, oldest established regulated and compliant exchanges. It's a great honor for us. And we had a very good start there.
지금 저희가 이 자리에 와 있는 것도 마찬가지인데요. 한국 시장에 저희 스마트 밸러를 조금 더 알리고 싶은 게 저희 가장 큰 목적이고요. 지금 기사 보시면 아시겠지만 지난 저희가 며칠이었죠? 18일이죠. 빗썸에 상장도 했고 사실 어저께는 비트막스라고 중국 거래소에도 상장해 있는 상황입니다. 기사 여긴 없지만 찾아보시면 비트막스 건도 올라와 있습니다.
So one thing I would like to talk to you about, if you think about all the tokens, new tokens that are coming into space, I mean, this space is exploding. There are so many new things going on, right? It's very difficult to follow and to understand what is like the really big, interesting new opportunity. Right. Okay, so out of everything I see currently, I see one big trend emerging. So here we are talking about exchange native tokens, right? More and more exchanges started to issue their own token, and some of them even started to use it for exchange initial coin offerings, right?
지금 보시는 바와 같이 기존의 전통시장에서 투자의 수익 배분과 전체적인 규모를 말씀드리고 있는데요. 정말 이런 모든 것을 팔로우업하고 따라가기가 굉장히 힘든 실정이고요. 실제 현재 저희 STO 쪽도 굉장히 100여 군데가 넘는 나라에서 진행하고 있다고 알려져 있습니다.
The interesting thing about exchange native tokens is that while it's not necessarily security, but it's still kind of the way for public to benefit from wealth creation, from profit of exchange. As the token price grows, you as an investor, you can participate, you can buy and sell, and you're indirectly participating in the profits of the exchange.
재미있는 거 하나는 시큐리티 토큰이라는 것 자체가 굉장히 어떻게 보면 애매한 과정에 있는데요. 시큐리티 토큰, 유틸리티 토큰과 시큐리티 토큰의 가장 큰 차이가 시큐어하게 투자할 수 있게끔 만들어주는 게 메인 포커스인데요. 그거의 경계선이 좀 애매한 상황인 것 같습니다.
Yes. So, and this is a new opportunity to own the new financial market infrastructure.
네, 그래서 그러한 다양한 시장에 지금 저희가 기존에 있는 전통 시장과 비슷하게 가려고 하는 새로운 익스체인지가 지금 저희 스마트 밸러인데요. 여러분도 스마트 밸러와 함께 새로운 인프라스트럭처, 새로운 시장의 진출을 함께 하시면 어떻겠습니까?
Exactly. So one question to you guys: does any of you raise your hand if you owner of any traditional exchange? Does anybody own New York Stock Exchange, Nasdaq, London Stock Exchange?
지금 대표님께서 말씀하시는 건 기존 크립토 익스체인지가 아닌 전통시장 익스체인지, 뭐 나스닥이라던가 한국거래소라던가 이런데 혹시 주식을 가지고 계신 분 계신가요?
No hands. No. Who of you own any kind of cryptocurrency exchange through the token?
그렇다면 이번에는 저희 크립토 스페이스에 크립토 거래소를 통한 토큰을 가지고 계신 분 계신가요?
Anybody has BNB, Binance token, Huobi token? You see? So this is the point. This is a democratization of access to investment opportunities.
네, 가장 중요한 저희 회사의 모토 중에 가장 중요한 거 하나가요. 모든 사람들에게 자본의 민주화를이라는 게 저희의 기저인데요. 네, 모토. 네, 감사합니다. 모토라는 단어가 생각이 났어요. 네, 모토인데요. 자, 보세요. 여러분들 지금 나스닥에 있는 주식을 소유하고 계신 분은 한 분도 없으시지만 BNB 토큰이라던가 혹은 다양한 거래소 토큰을 가지고 계시잖아요.
Right? So this is a big difference. Those exchanges, they are owned by big guys, right? You know, insiders, institutions, banks, asset managers. I call it Wall Street Mafia. Right?
네, 대표님은 지금 월스트리트 마피아라고 말씀 주셨는데요. 그걸 좀 정의해 보자면 사실은 저희가 일반 유저들이나 투자자들이 이렇게 닫기 힘든 그런 시장이라는 말씀이신 거예요. 뭐 예를 들어서 굉장한 부를 축적하고 있는 분들이라던가 혹은 굉장히 큰 인스티튜션 그런 기관들을 말씀하시는 거예요.
So the future exchanges will be owned by us, not by them.
자, 가장 중요한 건 제가 아까 말씀드린 저희 모토가 자본의 민주화라고 말씀드렸잖아요. 자, 그러면 지금 만약에 저희 토큰, 그러니까 시큐리티 토큰을 가지고 있는 것 자체가 기관이 소유하는 게 아닌 저희 자신, 투자자 자신에게 그 토큰의 오너십이 있다는 말씀이십니다.
So one question for you guys. If we would, on the next slide, put together the top 5 traditional exchanges and top 5 crypto exchanges, their tokens. And we would calculate the market cap. So number of outstanding shares multiplied by price, market cap of traditional exchanges, top 5, and crypto exchanges. So BNB token multiplied by, you know, in circulation by price of the token. Who would be bigger? Traditional exchanges or crypto exchanges?
다음 장은 보여드릴 게 일반 기존의 전통시장의 그런 익스체인지, 거래소와 크립토 시장의 거래소의 그 전체 마켓캡을 좀 보여드리려고 비교해드리고 싶은데요. 어떤 게 클 거라고 생각하시나요?
Raise your hand if you think traditional exchanges are much bigger. 1, 2. I'm very happy for you guys. You're not sleeping. You're right. And they are much, much bigger.
정말 비교해보면 굉장히 크기가 다릅니다.
Look at this. This is amazing, right?
자, 왼쪽 보시면 트레디셔널 익스체인지고요. 지금 오른쪽 보시면 크립토 익스체인지입니다.
So top 5 exchanges, if you want to buy them, you will need to pay 145 billion.
오른쪽에 탑5 익스체인지, 그러니까 전 세계의 탑5 익스체인지를 보시면 전체 마켓캡이 145 billion이라고 했으니까 it's like how much it will be? Can you help me? 145 billion will be
Trillion.
yeah, it's trillion. It's
140
like
trillion.
yeah, it's trillion. Yes.
Right? So, and exchanges, crypto exchanges, the top 5, more or less, just 4.
그리고
네,
바이낸스,
trillion.
뭐 비트맥스, 오케이, 그다음에 뭐 중국 모든 거래소 5개를 합하면 5
So this is very small and very good deal if you want to think about it. If this is the future infrastructure of all the exchanges, tokenized assets, if these guys are going to be bigger than those guys in 5 or 10 years, then this is a real good deal.
그리고 대표님이 믿으시기에는 앞으로 5년 혹은 10년 후의 미래에는 이 시장이 반대로 바뀔 수도 있다고 생각하신다고 합니다. 그리고 정정할게요. 50조, 그 다음에 지금 4 빌리언이 50조입니다. 네.
So this is kind of the way you can think about all these exchange native tokens, right? They are indirect way to own this infrastructure.
네, 이 좋은 방법이죠. 다이렉트하지 않게 뒤로 돌아서 투자할 수 있는 좋은 방법이 바로 이 크립토라고 생각합니다.
Yes, and they are also much more profitable than traditional exchanges.
그리고 지금 이 화면은 순수 이익을 보여드리고 있는데요. 네, 크립토가 훨씬 더 profitable, 그러니까 수익이 더 좋습니다.
Yes, maybe not last year. It's very cyclical industry,
네.
right?
작년은 그렇지 않을 수 있다고 하시네요. 네.
Exactly. So this is why you know, a lot of exchanges are issuing their coins. This is like really a big fashion currently. A lot of things happening there, and as I said, you know, this is an amazing opportunity because this is your way to own in the Wall Street of tomorrow, basically, right?
네, 지금 말씀 주신 것처럼 아까 월스트리트 마피아라고 표현해 주셨잖아요. 근데 월스트리트 마피아가 아닌 여러분 개개인 투자자가 이런 모든 권한을 가질 수 있게 되는 게 바로 STO라고 생각하시면 됩니다.
So this one, I actually like to look at it. Binance, you know, it's interesting that Binance in the recent years, it started as a crypto exchange, but look what's happening when they issue your token on their launch pad, for example, this initial coin offering, right? They don't give you that money, right? They hold the money. And they release the money based on success of your project, basically pretty much as venture capital fund.
지금 굉장히 재밌는 거 하나를 공유하고 싶으시다고 하는데요. 바이낸스가 지금 어떻게 변화하고 있는지에 대한 건데요. 시작은 여러분들 잘 아시겠지만 거래소, 익스체인지로 시작을 했잖아요. 근데 이제 지금은 하는 바이낸스 런치패드의 성향을 보면 사실 벤처 캐피탈과 많이 다르지 않은 그런 형태를 보이고 있습니다.
This is different than ICO, right?
So,
please raise your hand who thinks ICO were mostly scams. Come on. No. Okay. So ICOs were not scam. Raise your hands who thinks ICO were not mostly scams, were a good thing in development. It was kind of changing, right? Exactly. But look, guys, the way to make ICOs more compliant and more legal, it's not just one way. It's not just STOs, right? It's also Binance way to do this venture capital kind of like and hold your funds, right? There will be 10 different ways, right? To create this global funding, kind of like ICO, but in a more legal, more regulated structure.
여러분들 중에 누가 ICO가 불법이 아니라고 생각하세요? 혹은 ICO가 지금 잘하고 있다고 생각하시는지요? 자, ICO 말고도 정말 다양한 방법으로 펀딩을 할 수 있는 구조가 있다고 말씀하시네요. 특히 바이낸스가 하나의 예인데요. 바이낸스가 지금 하고 있는, 그러니까 벤처 캐피탈처럼 투자자처럼 하고 있는 그런 형태가 그 종류의 하나라고 생각하시면 됩니다.
Right. So the way I just would like to explain you what we're doing and why you should maybe spend a little bit more time learning about what we do. We're kind of like, you know, you can think about us as a Bitstamp or Binance with a focus on security token and European based. That's the only difference, right?
스마트 밸러에 대해서 여러분들이 시간이 있으시다면 조금 공부해 보시면 참 좋을 것 같다고 생각하신다는데요. 이유는 자, 스마트 밸러는 지금 거래소이기도 합니다. 물론 토큰을 이슈한 회사이기도 하지만요. 거래소이자 굉장히 저희가 포커싱하고 있는 비즈니스 자체가 STO, 그러니까 시큐리티 토큰 관련된 거래소입니다. 게다가 저희가 유럽에, 그러니까 스위스에 기반을 가지고 있는 그런 회사이기 때문에 저희에게 좀 집중해 주시고 시간이 있으시다면 공부도 좀 해주셨으면 좋겠다고 하시네요.
So, and I will skip several slides. I mean, there are a lot of advantages of being early in an infrastructure that is just about to launch, right? I mean, imagine just investing in any of those tokens, Binance Coin, Huobi token, before the exchange even launch, right? So that's kind of like, you know, that I'm trying to explain people when they say, oh, okay, there are so many exchanges. Currently, there are no STO exchanges, right? And this is just the beginning.
게다가 저희의 강점 중 하나는요. 물론 여러분들이 생각하시기에 굉장히 많은 익스체인지가 있다고 생각하시겠지만 저희 익스체인지는 이제 STO의 기반의 첫 익스체인지 거래소라고 보시면 됩니다. 세계에는 정말 많은 익스체인지가 있지만 저희 거래소와 같은 익스체인지는 현재는 없다고 보시면 되고요. 게다가 생각해보세요. 바이낸스가 처음 시작했을 때 여러분들이 그때 투자를 좀 미리 하셨다면 지금 어떤 상황이실까요? 지금 저희 스마트 밸러도 같은 상황이라고 생각하시면 된다고 하시네요.
And with that, I'm done. I thank you very much for your attention. And I would like to turn into a little bit Q&A and conversation. Any of you can throw a question into the round, and any of you can answer together with me.